So I've just got back from a fantastic couple days down in Lorne, which is southwest of Melbourne, down along the Great Ocean Road. An absolutely stunning area, one of the best drives in the country, I reckon. And so for me, one of the big things in this trip was doing some photography. And so I brought two cameras along. This one here is my Canon R6 Mark II. And this one here, which is my little Panasonic GX7 Mark II. So for this trip, I'm actually tagging along with my partner who's coming to Lorne for a work conference. And because I've had a lot of things going on over the past few months with work stuff and a few things around at home, getting out to a place like this was exactly what I needed to change up my scenery, slow things down, and get out and enjoy some photography. So this time I kicked things off by dropping off my stuff at the accommodation and settled in with a walk up and down the beach where I got these shots. And shout out to Teo Crawford, who's another photographer on YouTube whose stuff I really like, and I've actually used his preset to edit these ones. So if you like them, then after you've watched my video, go check out some of his stuff. Lorne is a really picturesque place where there's often a lot of wildlife around, especially very loud screeching cockatoos. And so something of a smaller nature that I noticed on these trips a few years ago was how you have these little rock pools in the beach where there's a thin layer of sand at the bottom, and then these tiny little snails push around the sand and create these squiggly patterns and paths. I love how these shots work out, and they're always unique and constantly changing. Might be something fun to make a series out of some point, maybe in the future, we'll see. But it had been a long day and I decided I needed to head back before it got too dark, and right as I got to the accommodation, this sunset really started to go off. Might have been better to take some of these photos down on the beach, but I think these shots still capture that tranquil coastal Australian town vibe nicely. And so for the first part of this next day, I decided to check out a waterfall that's actually really close to the town of Lorne. It's called Erskine Falls. Normally when I've been out this way, I've actually gone out to some of the waterfalls that are quite a bit further, often sort of an hour and even longer drive away. I think this one is only about 5 or 6 minutes, which is really nice and close. This first little viewpoint didn't really make for the most inspiring photograph. The real main event though is when you walk down the stairs to this little viewing platform where you get this great view from the bottom. Beautiful way to start the day before heading back out to the beach later this afternoon. So here we are, back on the beach, heading down towards the pier you can see there in the distance. But on the way, I stopped off to some rock pools that I found and took a few more photos like the ones that I mentioned earlier in the video. And so this one, the polarizer couldn't quite cut through the reflection, but I kind of like the sort of shadowy shape that I left hanging over the pool as I took the photo. So it was a really great day to be out, and there were so many people on the pier fishing. I knew there had to be a shot there somewhere. And so the one that I really liked out of the bunch that I got was this one here. This guy checking out what's going on and seeing if he's caught anything. And so where we're headed to now is a spot that I found on Google Maps that I thought might be an interesting spot to try and take some photos from. It's called Lorne Scenic Beach, and I thought there had to be something here. And with the sunlight hitting this mist coming off the water, I knew that there had to be a shot, and this is what I got. So I really like how the sun is backlighting the sea spray. It's giving some real atmosphere to the image. And the little camper van just off in the distance sort of adds to the story, I think, and helps sort of show that this is one of these places that Australians and a lot of tourists from overseas love to come and visit sort of on a big road trip. All in all, really happy with how this one came out. So I ended up hanging out here for a little while and got a few other photos that I think worked out too. So the contrast in this image is obviously even a lot stronger than the previous one. You can also see there's some people off in the distance that again sort of add a bit of story to the image that I quite like. And in this one, I just really liked how the rock formation in the foreground looked with the backlight and the sort of interesting pattern that it has, I thought made for another cool composition. So shooting these black and white images was really quite fun, and it's encouraged me to keep trying and do it a bit more often, I think. And it might be something to look out for in a future video. So as this day comes to an end, we had some really nice light as I walked back to the accommodation. So took it nice and easy and took a few more shots as I headed back to the place where I was staying. And so if you thought Melbourne's weather changed quickly and dramatically, well, Lorne had it beat on this day for sure. We'd already had a bit of on and off rain over the past few days in the area, and so I thought that definitely was going to lead to great conditions for going out and shooting photos of waterfalls. And as I went on this walk, it was absolutely bone dry, beautiful sunny day, and then very quickly turned to rain. And then again, it was very bright and sunny, and then very quickly turned to rain. And this had all happened before I'd even arrived at the spot that I was hoping to take photos at. And eventually I got there absolutely convinced that I was going to see some spectacular cascades going over the cliff. But this is what I was met with. And so it wasn't the photographic experience that I was hoping for. But getting out on a walk in nature just like this, even in rough weather, for me is a lot of fun. So it was definitely not time wasted, even though I didn't get a great shot out of it. So because my little waterfall shoot turned out to be a bit of a bust, I decided I'd finish this day by going down to the beach and watching the surfers for a bit, and also trying to get some photos before I left. And so these are the shots that I got, and yeah, I was pretty happy with how they came out. And so that's my trip to Lorne. I really had a great time getting out and taking these photos and filming this video to show you what it was like. And I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope that you come back to check out some of my other videos and maybe subscribe if you haven't already to see what I come out with next. But otherwise, thanks again, and we'll catch you again soon. Cheers.